lovely bubbly people. So today I'm going to be making oatmeal milk and honey soap, and that's my cat moving the table. I'm going to be making an oatmeal milk and honey bar of soap, and I'm really excited to do this one. I have never piped soap before, so it's going to be nice that my first YouTube video for Bubby's Bubbles is going to be a piping soap, a high top soap. So I'm excited to do that tonight. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. I think this is my favorite fragrance so far, and it is from Nurture Soap. It's oatmeal milk and honey, and it smells absolutely delicious. I smell the milk and honey smell the most, along with like an almond oil smell, and it just smells so delicious. I love it. So tonight we're going to be doing that, and I'm also going to be adding in some finely ground oatmeal for exfoliant. And we're going to be using melt and pour, we're going to be using embeds, and I'm really excited, just waiting on the lye to cool down. We are back and everything is ready to go. I've got my oil here, I've got my lye here, I've got my safety gloves on now that we're working with the lye, and I'm going to go ahead and pour the lye slowly into my oil and put my mixer in, and I'm just going to tap a couple times just to make sure I get bubbles out, and I'm going to slowly add my lye into my oils. And then I am going to blend until just past emulsification. And emulsification is when the oil and the lye mix together to the point where they will not separate. Alrighty, so that is looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and split this batch into 3 parts because I'm going to be making a frosting out of it, 2 layers, and then we're going to be making a middle layer with it. So I'm going to go ahead and split this batch. I'll put this over here in its cup. And I'm going to try and get just about the same exact amount, but I'm not going to be crazy picky about it. I just want to get about the same amount. So, oh, let me flip it the other way because I was watching the numbers from the inside. Okay, so as you can see, I have not put any fragrance oil, colorants, nothing in this because I don't want them to harden faster than I'm planning. So I'm going to put this aside, I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to work with this baby. And I'm going to bring our mold into view. Here we go. Bring the mold into view. And the first thing I'm going to do here is I am going to go ahead and add a bit of titanium white pigment to this. And not very much because I just wanted to kind of give it a tint. And then I'm also going to be adding a shimmer gold mica to it, which is going to give it a nice honey looking color, along with the fragrance oil, because the fragrance oil actually will discolor the soap and it will make it a tan color, so it'll be along the lines of like a dark amber honey color. And I'm going to go ahead and mix this with my spatula, and then I will lightly mix it with my blender. And as you can see, that's why it has to be mixed with the blender, because the mica just sticks, and so does the titanium white. So just trying to get that in there, and it's just totally sticking to the spatula, but that's okay. These things happen. You move on. You do the best you can. No one's gonna die. But I like to mix it a little bit first, because when you just throw the mixer in there, it sometimes can have like a puff effect, and I don't want mica puffing into my eye along with lye. So, even though I do have safety glasses on. So I'm going to try and just scrape that off because a lot got stuck on there. But so I'm just going to do like a nice little, quick little blend there. And you can see it just got a little lighter and it got a little whiter along with that colorant, a little bit of shimmer in there. So I'm going to do that. And I want this one to be at a bit thicker of a trace because this is going to be the bottom layer, and it is going to need to thicken up pretty quickly so that we can do the second layer. So I'm going to mix this quite a bit just to help it a thicker trace and to thicken up. Okay. And we can see that it is a lot thicker now. So I'm going to mix that a little bit more, and I'm going to add some of the oatmeal ground up all up into it. And again, I'm going to kind of fold it in with my spatula here, and then I'm going to use the blender to blend it in also. And I'm also going to be adding a third of the fragrance oil. About a third, I mean. I'm not measuring perfectly here. And again, this is going to give a tan color to discoloration to the soap. And I want the soap to be thicker too, because these wonderful exfoliating ground up oatmeal bits are going to be great, and I want them all throughout. I don't want them to settle at the bottom. Alrighty, so all mixed in, and we are just going to pour straight into the mold. And I always make sure that I scrape my containers, because otherwise you have a lot of waste going on. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape out my container and then let this sit, and we will be back in just a bit when it has hardened up. And we are back. So it looks like it's starting to harden up, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in there and just make some texture so that when we put it down our next layer, it'll look kind of cool when I'm cutting the soap bars. So I'm just going to kind of like fluff it basically, and I'll be messing with it again in a sec. So, alrighty. So now I am going to take some glycerin melt and pour soap that I have melted down, and I tried to get it to like a golden honey color, and I do like how it came out. It looks nice. I'm going to softly put it down on that layer because I don't want it to be too hot, and I don't want it to go through. I don't want it to mix. I just want it to be there basically. So I'm going to pour it down very carefully, and I'm using my spatula so that way it kind of breaks the fall basically and gives that nice little layer. And I am going to save a little bit for later. Okay, and I'm going to save about that much, probably a little less actually. Save a little less for later. There we go. I'm going to save about that much for later, and we'll come back to that rest of that melt and pour a little bit later. And I'm just going to kind of try and pull up some little chunks here and there of the cold process soap, and hopefully that gives it a really cool effect when we cut it open. And now I'm going to spray some 91% alcohol on the top here just for any bubbles to come to the surface, and they'll pop. And it helps with sweat, and hopefully it'll help it to adhere and everything. And I'm going to let this sit for about 5 to 10 minutes until it gets a nice good like layer on top of it so we can do the next layer. Alrighty, so we are back, and I am going to go ahead and pour the third layer, and I just did the same thing that I did to the first layer. Added fragrance oil, the ground up oatmeal, the shimmer gold, and a little bit of titanium white, and then mixed it all together, made it a little bit thicker, and did the same thing basically as the first layer. So I'm going to go ahead and just spritz the top here with the alcohol again. That's going to help it to adhere better. And I'm just going to lightly kind of tap on the first layer, because again, I don't want it to like fully mix. I want it to be on top. So I'm just going to lightly place it on there type of thing and just kind of break the fall. It looks like it's going good. And then I'm going to kind of just get a whole layer going here. Let's see. There we go. Alrighty, and then I'm just going to pour the rest across here. And it's not going to be totally full because I am going to be doing a frosting top. Or a piped top. Frosting. Thinking of cakes here, but I mean, makes sense. Piping, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape this baby clean, and then I will be back with the piping layer. We're back. This is hardening up still, but I'm going to go ahead and start making our frosting. So I'm going to move that back a little bit and bring this batch into the front here. And this is going to be our piping top. And this is not going to be scented because I was worried about acceleration, and when piping you need some time. So I'm going to go ahead and add a bit of the titanium white, and by a bit I mean like a teaspoon. So yeah. I'm going to start with mixing it with my spatula here. But you're going to see when I use the blender, it really brings out the white. It really mixes it in. So I did clean my blender to get all of those wonderful oatmeal exfoliating parts off, and also the colorant. So I'm going to go ahead and mix it. Okay, and we can see it has gotten a lot lighter. If you can tell, like right here with the soap. This is much different, right? But I want it to be a little more white. So I'm going to put about another half a teaspoon of titanium white in it. Plop it in there. And get my spatula out of the way. And we're getting pretty thick here, so that's good. And now it is looking nice and white. And it's not quite ready yet to be poured for the piping, but what I am going to do is put just a really thin layer, and I need to spray a little bit of alcohol. Pour a thin layer over the soap mold here, because this soap fragrance, as I said, it does cause some discoloration, and I don't want it to go into the piping, so I'm going to just do a tiny thin layer of this piping over it in order to keep it from bleeding, basically. So I'm just going to kind of scoop it there. I don't want it to be too thick at all. I'm just going to kind of scoop it on. And then I'm just gonna kind of thin it out a little bit. And it doesn't need to be all the way on it. I just wanted to give it a chance type of thing. And then I will be back in a few minutes with my piping bag. Alrighty, so it is looking like it's ready. I went ahead and did a little tester there. And I'm gonna go ahead and do 3 dollops across all the way. Oh, it is a little soft, but that's okay. Come on. There we go. Okay, and before I fill in the holes, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of mica on top. Now, this is a messy technique, but I really like the effect that it gives. It's just really pretty. I'm just doing a bit of mica on top here. And then I'm going to do the next one. And I'm going to spray that with a little bit of alcohol, just to make sure that the mica really sets in there. And then I'm going to do the next layer. And because my camera says it's going to die, I'm going to go ahead and come back once I've done the next 2 layers of piping. Alright, and we are back. And I'm going to go ahead and do some more mica on top. But just a bit, not a lot. Alright, and then I have these nice little embeds that I'm going to put on the top here. And I wanted them to look like little milky honey balls, basically. And I'm just gonna pop it right here. And I do have it marked here on the sides how big each bar is going to be, so I'm trying to put them in a specific spot so that it is 1 embed on each bar. And then we'll be putting the final touches on the bar. And I'm so excited. I'm really loving how this came out. It looks beautiful. And then on the very end here, you're gonna see that there's like extra, and that is gonna be for the sample bar. For the last bit, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put just a little bit of oatmeal here on the sides. It's not gonna be too much, just a little bit for like an accent type of thing. Not that we don't have enough accent already, am I right? And that should be good. And then we're gonna do the last little touch. And that is gonna be our honey. So I'm going to take some of the rest of the glycerin soap that I saved, and I am just going to pour it, drizzle it on top, and kind of give the effect of honey being poured on top. I did let this cool down a little bit just so that it wouldn't mess up the ribboning on the piping, and so that it would be kind of thick and give that nice effect, which it might be a little too thick. I'm gonna go heat it up just a little bit. I will be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and heated it up a bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and just drizzle on the rest there. Alrighty, and that is it. And I'll get you in for a close-up in just a second. Here is the finished product, and I will be back in about 24 to 48 hours to unmold this and cut it. I am so excited. It came out so pretty. Oh my gosh. I just want to eat it, honestly. Hello, lovely people. So I am back. It has been 24 hours, and I'm going to check and see if this is ready. And I just gotta be really careful. I'm gonna get a mat here for my table. Here we go. I just find it's easier to clean stuff up off of this mat than off of the table, so I try and keep everything on this mat. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first to check and see if it's ready is just check the sides. And it is not ready. So I will come back in another 24 hours and check and see how it's doing. On the top here, it does feel ready, but on the sides, it is sticking, and that is just a really nice sign that it's not ready. So I don't want to take it out. I don't want to mess it up. I have to be patient, which is really hard to do. So I'll be back in 48 hours. See you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so I got it out of the mold, and I'm going to be cutting. It's still a little soft, but I have noticed that when I use melt and pour in the cold process, it does seem to stay a little soft. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw with the citrus neroli that stayed soft also. Oh my gosh, that looks beautiful. Wait, I love how that looks. It looks like honey on the inside. And this is going to be the sample bar, actually. So there is the first bar. It looks so nice. Let's cut deeper into it. Ooh. Wait, oh, nice. Okay. So here you go. Here's the next one. Here's the other side. So it just kind of depends what you get, but it looks really nice. I really like how it came out. Let's see another slice here. Yes. Oh, it looks so nice. I'm so happy with how it came out. Alright, so if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe so you can see more in the future. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye!